With the 4-game win streak, it's been all high fives and handshakes for the defending champs. But no matter how much of a roll they're on, the Giants always have their hands full with the Padres. Every game between these NL West rivals is full of fire and emotion. Tonight, it's game 2 of the series. Giants, Padres, next.
We've got a very nice night for baseball as our Giants fans filing in to AT&T Park as we get ready for Giants baseball. Padres Giants, game 2 of this series. Hi again, everybody. I'm Dwayne Kuiper. Alongside me is Mike Krukow. Well, the Giants are playing terrific baseball, especially at home. And one of the beauties of playing at home is it is a pitcher's park. And sometimes that can help a guy that might be struggling a little bit. And hopefully that's the case with Ryan Vogelsong.
Well, Giants are hoping that indeed it is the case with Ryan Vogelsong. In fact, the last time he had an outing here in San Francisco, he went 6 strong innings against the Dodgers, allowed just 3 hits. So it is well within his skill set to spin another dandy. And right now, the starting pitching has been fantastic. The last 27 innings in 4 games, starting pitching ERA 1.29. They've allowed 12 hits in that span. And, one thing that's really contagious is good pitching, and hopefully Ryan Vogelsong can catch the bug tonight.
All right. Angel Pagan, a late scratch. All right. Stay tuned as we take you to Willie Mays Plaza. And we're going to do that right after these messages.
Brought to you by Jack in the Box. Jack's hottest sandwich is back. Head to Jack in the Box for Jack's Blazing Chicken Sandwich. By Toyota, #1 in MPG, durability, and resale value. Toyota, let's go places. And by DraftKings.com. Play daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com with the official daily fantasy partner of Major League Baseball. Enter promo code ORANGE for free entry.
Well, it is Cinco de Mayo. Your Giants donning the Gigantes jerseys, and they are riding a season-high 4-game win streak and are hot at home, having won 7 straight right here at AT Park. Welcome back to the broadcast. I'm Amy Gutierrez, and your Giants starting pitching, a huge reason for the team's recent success. Madison Bumgarner, of course, no exception. His last 2 starts phenomenal, and last night's outing against the Friars, well, it's our AT&T Uverse rewind this evening. Madison simply dominated the mound, tossing a no-hitter through 6 innings. He ended up lasting 7 1/3, allowing just 2 hits, 1 walk. He struck out 6. Now combine that with his previous start at Dodger Stadium. Bum's allowed a total of 1 run, 7 hits, over 15 1/3 innings. All right, tonight's starter for your San Francisco Giants, Ryan Vogelsong, and he is hoping to follow suit. He's going to square off against the Friars, Andrew Kashner. Lineups, first pitch, Croup and Kite, all coming up right after the break. Stay with us.
Is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Jack's hottest sandwich is back. Head to Jack in the Box for Jack's Blazing Chicken Sandwich. By Toyota, #1 in MPG, durability and resale value. Toyota, let's go places. And by DraftKings.com. Play daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com with the official daily fantasy partner of Major League Baseball. Enter promo code ORANGE for free entry.
Well, it is Cinco de Mayo. Your Giants donning the Gigantes jerseys, and they are riding a season-high 4-game win streak and are hot at home, having won 7 straight right here at AT Park. Welcome back to the broadcast. I'm Amy Gutierrez, and your Giants starting pitching, a huge reason for the team's recent success. Madison Bumgarner, of course, no exception. His last 2 starts phenomenal, and last night's outing against the Friars, well, it's our AT&T Uverse rewind this evening. Madison simply dominated the mound, tossing a no-hitter through 6 innings. He ended up lasting 7 1/3, allowing just 2 hits, 1 walk. He struck out 6. Now combine that with his previous start at Dodger Stadium. Bum's allowed a total of 1 run, 7 hits, over 15 1/3 innings. All right, tonight's starter for your San Francisco Giants, Ryan Vogelsong, and he is hoping to follow suit. He's going to square off against the Friars, Andrew Kashner. Lineups, first pitch, Krupenkuip, all coming up right after the break. Stay with us.
Onto the field here for game 2 of this series. Our Game Time weather is presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. The admission is free. Visit online for park hours at beachboardwalk.com. 57 degrees. You see winds 13 miles per hour. Humidity at 68%. Here's the lineup that Vogelsong will be facing. Padres come in with a record of 14-13. It'll be Spangenberg to lead it off, followed by Solarte, Kemp. Kemp, big numbers against Vogelsong. Then it's Upton, Norris, and Max and Molly's kid. Middlebrooks will hit 7th, and Amarista and Kashner.
On the hill tonight for the Giants will be the right-hander Ryan Vogelsong, 6'4", 215-pounder. Vogelsong, 37 years old. He's in his 9th year at the big league level. This is what he has done. 3 starts, 0-2 with a 9.31 ERA. However, the last outing he had here at AT&T was against the Dodgers. He went 6 strong, allowed 3 hits and 1 walk in that ball game. And the key for Vogelsong tonight is to have corner command with 2 types of movement on the fastball. He should be right around 90 miles per hour with his velocity. He's got a curveball. He'll cut the ball. He'll throw a changeup. Lifetime against these Padres, 4-6 with a 5.66 ERA. Now, what do you say we take a look at the defense playing behind Vogelsong tonight? Starting the Giants outfield from left to right. It'll be Aoki, Blanco, and Maxwell. Maxwell with the best arm in the outfield. Crawford and Duffy on the left side. Joe Panik joined by Brandon Bell on the right side. Buster Posey, he'll be in the squad, putting down the signs.
Giants. Remember, Angel Pagan got injured last night. He had his finger stepped on by Jerko and it split that nail. Right when he came down right there. And took batting practice and then was scratched.
In the lineup today till he took a couple swings of the bat, didn't feel good. So Gregor Blanco in center and Justin Maxwell in right.
First pitch of the ball game is fouled back. 7:15 first pitch. Spangenberg did not play last night. He's hitting .241. And a bunt, and it's a good one. And this one is going to roll foul.
So far this year, Vogelsong, the way he has used his pitches, a 55% fastball, and he'll also mix in a curveball, cutter, and a changeup. Really, he'll throw the specialty pitches anytime, in any count, in any situation. But the 55% for the fastball is a little low than what we normally see with Vogelsong. Normally, he'll pitch a lot with the fastball, and that's when he has command of it with two types of movement, and that's when he'll go in and out with it. At times, he'll just go fastball for a whole inning.
On the ground to Belt, and this game gets started with a 3-1 putout.
And that's an 89-mile-an-hour cut right on the hands, and you cannot run up there and put that pitch any better in the location that Vogelsong threw it. I mean, right on the hands, boring in, and watch this thing get up the bat and absolutely saw Spangenberg right in half. Nice pitch.
So here's Solarte. He did play yesterday, and he went 1 for 4. And he fouls it out of play. First pitch swinging.
Yeah, so far the Padres coming out of their shoes in that first pitch.
Out of their shoes.
Solarte, the only switch hitter on this Padres team. There's Buddy Black, skipper of the Pods.
One and one to Solarte, hitting over 300. He's got a couple of home runs. That's 17 runs batted in. And the 1-1 is driven to right, and that's a base hit. Maxwell will get to it and keep Solarte to a 1-out single, and that'll bring up Kemp. So here's Kemp. Kemp last night went 0 for 4 against Bumgarner. He does have ownage on Vogelsong. "12 hits, 32 at bats, 2 doubles, a triple, and a home run. And a high fly ball to right. Underneath it is Maxwell, and he'll make the catch. 2 outs.
Yeah, so far the Padres are playing this game like it's a Tuesday morning B game in spring training. And they are swinging at everything they see. 3 guys up, 3 times they've gone at the first pitch. Strike zone tonight is not a big one, but it's a pretty steady one. Rob Drake, the plate umpire, I think he's a low ball umpire, but you'll see some belt high strikes called. The other thing too about Drake is if you set an inside corner target and you throw it across the outside corner, he'll call it. It doesn't have to be between a catcher's knees to get the strike, but you do not have big corners with his zone.
So here's Upton. Upton fouls it out of play. First pitch swinging again. 1 for 4 last night. He picked up the first hit in the game off of Bumgarner last night on a leadoff single in the 7th. Kane doing the talking. Now Cantos doing the talking. And Bumgarner doing the listening. Hit out to right to Maxwell. And this is going to retire the side. A 10-pitch inning for Ryan Vogelsong as Nori Aoki is going to lead things off. And the Giants with a record of 13-13. Here's their lineup. It'll be Nori Aoki to lead things off, followed by Joe Panik and then Buster Posey, and he's got some ownage on Cashner. It'll be Bell, Crawford, and Blanco. Maxwell will hit in the 7th slot, then Duffy, followed by Vogelsong.
On the hill tonight for the Padres will be the big right-hander, Andrew Cashner. Cashner, 6'5", 225-pounder. He's a 5-year veteran and 6 starts this year. 1-4 with a 2.61 ERA. And look at the strikeouts per innings pitched. 36 strikeouts against 8 walks. I mean, he's a quality arm, a strikeout arm. Just 40 base runners in 31 innings. For Cashner, you're going to see a mid to high 90s fastball, depending on the grip. He will cut it. He will sink it. He's got a curveball, slider, and a changeup. And if he's getting them all over, he can be extremely difficult. See a lot of guys be very aggressive against him early in the count simply because you do not want to get into a 2-strike hole with those 4 pitches he can strike you out with.
So Aoki, hitting at 305, takes the ball. Aoki's had 4 hits and 8 at-bats against Andrew Cashner. And there's a bouncing ball to Solarte. And that's out number 1.
Take a look at how Cashner has used his pitches this year. A lot of fastballs, 63% of the time. And then the slider and the changeup, really his specialty pitch of choice. He will show a curveball. It'll be more to lefties than righties, and when he throws it, it won't be for a strike very often. It'll be for a strikeout. He'll try and bounce it.
Here's Joe Panik hitting at 294. And a strike call. Aoki went 1 for 4 last night. Panik went 1 for 3. And here he takes a low. Buster Posey to follow. Just underway here at AT&T Park. And into center field. And it's right at Venable, who put it away.
Let's take a look at the defense the Padres will employ tonight behind Andrew Cashner. Starting in the outfield, it'll be Upton, Venable, and Kemp. That's from left to right. Emeriste and Middlebrooks on the left side of the infield. Spangenberg and Solarte on the right side. And Derek Norris will be in the squad, putting down the signs. Good arms across the board in the outfield for the Padres tonight.
Here's Posey. Strike call to Buster Posey. 274. 4 big flies, set 11 driven in. Posey went 0 for 3 last night. And he rolls this one foul. It's 0-2.
It is Cinco de Mayo. The Giants have on their Gigantes uniform today. So happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody.
Down low, 1-2.
I mean, there was a time where the Gigantes uniforms were just bulletproof. Giants would put them on and they would not lose. So break out your sombrero, come out to the yard.
One and two to Posey. Hit up the middle. Spangenberg will throw out Posey, and that'll end the inning. So a quick first inning, and we will head to inning number 2. It's 0-0.
Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area is brought to you by Bay Area Mini.
Well, check out the Giants graduation pack. It includes tickets to 2 games plus a commemorative class of 2015 Giants cap and an SF tassel. Packs start as low as $45. sfgiants.com/mini-pack. Here's Derek Norris. And a strike to Norris, hitting at .323. A couple of home runs, 16 driven in. Norris hit second in the order last night and went 0 for 4. There's a breaking ball. Thank you very much. It's 0-2. On deck is Will Venable. Fastball high, 1-2.
After Brian Vogelsong's last start, he went right into the clubhouse, shaved off a beard, said, I need a new look. Got out of April into May now.
Out of play. Well, it's easier to go that way than to go in the clubhouse and say, I need a new look. I need to grow a beard.
It's not something you can do overnight. I thought he had a pretty good beard going. Casey McGee, Sergio Romo. Yeah, that guy's in the club too. That guy looks like he can grow it overnight.
Only a few like Rich Aurelio could do that.
Rob Nin.
1-2. And just a little low. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Rob Nin was shaving when he was 8 years old.
Oh, that's hysterical.
I miss Bino.
I do too. 2 balls, 2 strikes. On the ground, Crawford gets an in-betweener, but he stays with it and throws him out. All right, let's check in with Amy G. Amy?
All right, guys, not only have the Giants won 4 in a row, the last 2 days they put together back-to-back shutouts for the first time since May 27th, 28th, 2014. I spoke with skipper Bruce Bochy today. He said he feels his starters are really starting to find a rhythm, but he also said there's a friendly and very healthy competition going on. He knows the guys do try and outdo each other, which allows them to feed off of each other. Gentlemen?
Yep, that's true.
Well, that's your social circle. I mean, that's who you hang out with for the most part, the other starters. That's who you sit on the bench with during the game when you're not pitching.
Venable smokes it to Crawford, playing him perfectly.
It's amazing how all April, wherever the Giants put their defense, opponents would hit away from it. You get into May, and everywhere they put them, it's almost like they don't even have to move. Watch how perfectly Brandon Crawford was set up prior to the pitch. And he didn't have a lot of time to move left or right on that one. That ball was roasted.
Here's Middlebrooks. And the pitch is wide to Middlebrooks. Middlebrooks 0 for 3 last night. Comes into this game hitting 198. Good breaking ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Pop up playable. It's Belt. And Vogelsong with a nice second inning. Belt, Crawford, Blanco coming up. No score.
By the solar company. Not just any solar company. The solar company. Switch to solar and save.
No score. Giants are coming up. Yep.
He's rocking it.
So it's a big night here at the park. Come on. Belt rolls it foul.
It just tells you a lot about AT&T Park. You can wear that hat. Feel very comfortable. Pete Alonso making a play.
Well, you can wear that hat on any day and feel comfortable here. Belt drives one to center field. Venable on the move. Still on the move. It's over his head and up against the wall. And that's a leadoff double.
You want to know what gets hitting coaches and managers excited is compact power. And for a guy who's 6'5", that is as short a stroke to a ball as you're going to see. There's just no wasted motion in his approach to the ball. It's abrupt, it's powerful. And for Will Venable, he's got good range. He goes back on a ball as good as anybody in this division. And he had no chance on this. And this is your Exmo, brought to you by your local Toyota dealer.
So here's Crawford. Crawford swings and misses. Crawford hitting .235, 5 home runs, 14 driven in. Does have a lifetime home run off of Cashner.
If you look at that RBI total, I mean, he's not thinking get him over. I mean, that's the very least you can achieve in this at bat, get him over. But he's thinking knock him in. Crawford leading this Giants team in RBIs, home runs, off to a great start in that regard.
Blanco to follow, and then Maxwell. Get him in, get him over. That's your job here with nobody on and a man at second. 2 balls and 1 strike. Belt the leadoff double. In the dirt, 3-1. Nice and soft behind the plate, Norris.
2-1 changeup. Well, Norris going to come out and talk a little bit. They've got an open base here, and they know that Crawford has been very productive in the RBI situation this year. And I think the way that they're working him right now is very respectful. It doesn't look to me like Cashner minds at all if he walks Brandon Crawford. So I wouldn't expect it's just a challenge fastball here. I would expect at least pretty good corner location on it.
So it's 3-1. And the walk.
Very respectful.
So here's Blanco. Blanco hitting at .212 with 1 RBI. Does have 4 hits and 13 lifetime at bats. Against Cashner. And a first pitch strike.
96 miles per hour. And that's the other thing, too, about Cashner. He'll cruise in the low 90s at times with his fastball to get you into a 2-strike, and all of a sudden, boom, he amps it up, and you can see anywhere from 95 to 98 miles per hour. And he also amps it up when runners in scoring position.
Blanco bunts it foul. So now Blanco's in the hole. Giants have done better the last 14 games with runners in scoring position. And you see their record, and it does reflect that.
Yeah, hit 188 there, 3-9, hit 252, 10-4, big difference.
Blanco attacks the 97-mile-an-hour fastball and fouls it out of play.
Yeah, you're getting Cashner's best bolts right now with the fastball. One thing Cashner knows how to do is strike people out. You saw the strikeout total that he has. It's more than innings pitched. And he's pitching for 1 right now.
Got him. Disappointing at bat for Blanco when you figure he was asked to move those runners along, and now here's Maxwell. Maxwell's only had 1 lifetime at bat during the regular season against Cashner, and he's 0 for 1. Played yesterday, went 0 for 3. Base hit, center field. Here comes Belt. Venable's got a good arm. Here's the throw home. It is cut off. The throw to third, not in time. 1-0 Giants. Maxwell doesn't wait around.
Now, he studied Castor a lot, and what you find out about Castor is he's very aggressive on that first pitch. He wants to get in that strike zone. He'll mix up his pitches, but he is going to give you your best location oftentimes on that first pitch. Here he comes at him with a slider trying to get ahead 0-1, and Maxwell says, not getting greedy, just going right back up the middle, and here's the reward. A nice base running, too, from Brandon Crawford on the backside to get to third base from first. No hesitation from Roberto Kelly whatsoever. He had the windmill waving him in early.
So here's Duffy. And Duffy takes a strike. Duffy hitting .220. He's got a home run. He's got 7 driven in. One ball and 1 strike.
Pitch did not miss by much. Sinkers, pitching for that ground ball early. If you get to a 2-strike, you can shift into the strikeout mode if you're Cashner.
Duffy foul. 1-2.
Oh, our ball dude. Get a nice play.
Vermees. Jim Vermees. Mike Healy. 1-2 to Duffy. Big run at third. Slowly hit. That's 1. Not in time. 2-0 Giants. Hey, you put the ball in play, you might not get a run. That's what Duffy did.
What gives you the better time going down first base when you're trying to leg out a base hit or trying to leg out an RBI?
Yeah, trying to not hit into a double play with a guy on third in less than 2 outs. Probably that one.
Well, Duffy's got some speed. And he needed every bit of it there.
Here's Vogelsong, who's 1 for 6 on the season. And he takes a strike. Maxwell wasn't in the lineup until Pagan was scratched due to the injury to his finger. Duffy gets back. Oh, and 1 to Vogelsong. Slowly hit. Cashner. Look at the ball and throw him out. And that'll end the inning. Giants 2 runs on 2 hits and a walk. Third inning coming up. Amarista will lead it off.
Bochy on the defensive lapses behind Madison Bumgarner last night. He said, well, we made him work a bit extra. We got away with a lot of mistakes because of the job that he did. And indeed he did. 2 times the Giants made errors to start the inning off, and 2 times he pitched through those errors. And all a 4-error night for the Giants, and yet they still shut out the Padres.
Yeah, probably cost them a complete game.
Yeah, could have.
Here's Amarista hitting 183. And a swing and a miss, and it's 0-1.
Again, another first pitch swing.
Down the left field line, that's going to be a souvenir.
You think they're fired up about that play? Yes, they are. Understandably.
0-2 to Amarista. Got him. And that'll bring up Andrew Cashner, who's a big fella. He's 2 for 10 on the season.
Hey, the Renegade's coming in.
Uh-oh.
She is a slave driver.
There's a pitch wide, 1 ball and no strikes.
Yeah, that's the job to have on that boat. Steering it.
With a stopwatch, yelling at people.
I could do that.
I mean, the people rowing, you think they did this for fun? They paid to do that?
Oh, yeah, it's a great workout.
Here's $100. Yell at me for a couple hours. There's a line drive. Aoki's going to make the running catch. Well, the official 2014 Champion fan collection is now available. The collection includes custom rings, charms, cufflinks, and much more. You can check that out at any one of the 10 Bear Dugout stores, or the fan collection is available online at sfgiants.com/fanring. So here's Spangenberg. Spangenberg bounced out to Belt to open up the ball game. And maybe what? High curveball, changeup, 2 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, it looks like that curveball. He just kind of scored it out of his hand, got underneath it, goosed it. Spangenberg, I mean, he's got a little pop in his bat, and he gets count leverage. He'll come out of his shoes.
Well, he kind of did right there. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike.
I mean, that's not your prototypical leadoff hitter approach at a 2-0 count.
Buster taking a peek at Spangenberg. 2-2. That's 92 from Bogerson.
He's got more than enough fastball. The key with him is being able to command his movement. And he said what's been frustrating is that he'll set up and try and throw a cut, and he'll come back over the plate with a sink type movement. And you have that inconsistency, and you can't count on it. You get hit with location that you're not anticipating, and that's been problematic for him.
And it's rolled foul. So the count stays at 2 balls, 2 strikes. On deck, should Spangenberg reach, would be Solarte.
3-2. Cutter. Suppose he set up in the outside corner. I think he wanted Vogelsong to kind of wrap that around that outside corner. And now with a 2-0 lead here, 3-2 count, 2 outs. This should just be a here, hit it. Do not want to walk anybody when you have a 2-run lead.
How to play, that's what he did. And it stays at 3-2.
Well, he's got his orange on, got a ball, gave it to his babe. Nice.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Hit out into center field for Blanco. And this is going to retire the side. So a shutdown inning for Vogelsong. And the Giants will have the top of the order coming up. Those two stories. The last time the Giants committed 4 errors in a game and posted a shutout, it was June 19th, 1933 against the Cubs at the Polo Grounds. Hal Schumacher pitched a 3-hitter. Giants won 3-0, and they were led by player manager Bill Terry. And oh, by the way, the Giants went on to win the World Series in 1933.
Yeah, that's good luck to make 4 errors and have a shutout.
Yep, it is. 1-0 to Nori Aoki. There's a fastball for a strike. Aoki bounced out to first in the first. And there's a fastball high. Nice looking crowd tonight. Over 41,000 last night. Day game tomorrow. Aoki pops it up. It's going to be Venable. He's there in plenty of time. 1 out for Joe Panik.
It's up there on the upper deck of the left field side of the stadium. Right behind the AT Park. Great view across the city there, looking into the bay.
Beautiful. Panik bounces it off his foot. He lined out to Venable in the first inning. Much to Posey on deck.
Is that Sammer?
Sammer's out there just having some fun. Oh, 1 to Panik. Panik skies it out into Triple's alley, where it's going to be Kemp. Two outs. Buster bounced out to second to end the first inning.
It's a tight little slider to steal strike one. Now he gets 0-1. Now he starts going on the corners. Think about Casher and why he's so unique. He's a very compact motion for a guy his size, and he's 6'5". And it's not often you can see a guy combine finesse with location and power with his pitches, and he's one of those guys. When he can get it going where he can just carve you up. Two types of movement on the fastball. Curveball, slider, cutter, changeup. I mean, give you 6 different types of movement with corner command, and that can be a rough assignment.
Nope. 3-1.
You think about the power arms that we've seen. Roger Clemens, Kurt Schilling, Jack Morris, guys that Justin Verlander, John Smoltz. I mean, he's kind of out of that cut because of the quality of his stuff and his ability to command it.
Three and 2 to Buster Posey. And a base hit into center field. Buster saw an off-speed pitch and stayed on it nicely.
Just using the middle field, good balance in the swing. All he's looking for is a location mistake, and he gets it with 2 strikes. That ball's up. And this thing's right out there at the belt. Centering it right back where it came from. So a little 2-out thunder here for Posey. Setting it up for Belt.
Belt doubled over the head of Venable in the second. And he takes high and wide. Down low, 2-0.
Oh, he said he went on that swing?
He did.
All right, let's take a look. Did he go? Kerwin Danley making the call.
He could have.
Generous.
1 ball and 1 strike.
That tells you one thing. It's cold down there on the field.
You look like you're a little chilly yourself.
Not anymore. I had a moment where I got a little frosty. I went deep in the closet.
Belt pops this one down the left field line. That'll be out of play.
I mean, you're built a little different than I am. You're from Racine, Wisconsin.
Yeah, that blood back then is gone. It is thinned out. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And now a full count.
Tried a little sneak attack there with 96-mile-per-hour fastball. Add and go right across the letters.
Here's the payoff, and Posey started to go, but Kastner stepped off. And the walk. So Crawford's got an RBI opportunity.
And the last time Kastner faced him, he had a runner at second base and an open first base, and he kind of pitched around Crawford. And I guess you could say that he has an open base with 2 outs and nobody on third. But I got to believe he's going to see more strikes in this at bat than he did in his last one.
So it's 1-0 to Crawford. Crawford, 5 home runs, 14 driven in.
Yep, he's ready.
He is ready. He's also an optimistic young man.
Hey, you never know.
You never know. Not close. 1 ball and no strike.
At the very least, it keeps your hand warm.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, he's figured it out.
Witness protection.
It's not cold. He's just in the witness protection program.
He is. It's the only way he can see a game. Crawford fouls it out of play.
Is that the hot chocolate guy?
Yep. I think he's right below it. Another. They're all out. They let him out.
Well, it's witness protection night.
Into left field. Is that going to fall? It does. And here comes Posey. And the throw is over everybody. And Belt and Crawford move up. And it's 3-0.
All right, let's take a look at it. A little 2-out thunder going the opposite way. And Justin Upton, who's got a very good arm, goes, yeehaw! All the way to the backstop on a short hop.
That hit the bull in Bull Durham, didn't it?
Wow. You got all that one.
So here's Crawford, or Blanco.
All right, one more look. This is our view. Just gambling. And it's just not a whole lot Derek Norris could do.
Low, 1 ball and no strike. Is that how an error looks?
That is an error on the left fielder.
On the ground, under the glove of Solarte. Belt scores. Crawford scores. 5-0. And that's the play that's got to be made.
Oh, that's a backbreaker right there. So the Giants taking advantage of some sloppy defense from the Padres. And Solarte knows exactly what's at stake with this effort. I mean, you got to get a body in front of that thing. You cannot get by you. That's that simple. He stayed on a backhand. It came up, and he whiffs.
And here's Maxwell, and you might just see the way things are going here. Blanco take off, try to steal the bag. He goes outside. Norris's throw. They got him. And that'll end the inning. Damage done. 3 runs on the board for the Giants. It's 5-0.
Francisco Giants and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of San Francisco Baseball Associates, LLC.
Giants, with a little help from the Padres, have a 5-0 lead. Is Solarte, Kemp, and Upton are going to hit. And there's a pitch high, 1 ball and no strikes. Solarte with a line drive single to right field in the first inning. And Vogelsong drops in a breaking ball for a strike.
That's how you take out a 1-0 count. He's got excellent command with a breaking ball.
On the ground to Panic, and Joe Panic stays with it. Wow. Good rhythm right now for Vogelsong?
Yeah, he's in a real good rhythm. He's definitely got more confidence with the fastball. He's going right at the strike zone early. That's his key.
He had good rhythm last night.
Oh boy, did he ever. His last 2 starts, I don't think he can throw breaking balls any better than he has. Everything he's had has been good.
Here's Kemp. Kemp hit a fly ball to right field. Justin Maxwell last night, Mike, had 7 fly balls, and I guess it gives you an idea what Vogelsong was trying to do with right-handed hitters. Pitch him in, pitch him away.
Well, I think it had a lot to do with the Padres' approach, too. And I think if you get up there as a right-handed hitter, you try and pull Bumgarner with that cut that he runs towards you. You're going to get jammed if you try and go the other way, think the opposite gap. I think that's what they tried to do. To no avail.
Inside corner strike. Kemp didn't think so. 1-2. Belt's got it. 2 down. Let's check in with Amy G.
All right, guys, let's get fans updated on some Giants injuries. Jake Peavy today throwing his 2nd bullpen session. Bochy saying that he's throwing the ball real well. He's starting to feel really good. Hunter Pence taking BP again today. Bruce Bochy say they are very encouraged by Hunter's progress. He's hitting about 85 miles an hour off of a machine. Now, they're going to have to make decisions on both these guys over the next few days. And quickly, Matt Cain now throwing from 90 feet on flat ground. He's due to take a mound very soon. Gentlemen.
Thanks, Amy. And it's great to see Hunter Pence swing and swing without any concern.
Oh, broken bones are funny. I mean, you're going to be in pain a long, long time, and all of a sudden, whoop, that one day, you're good to go. And it's happened with Pence, and he's really accelerated his workouts. And he's getting real itchy.
There's a base hit for Upton, a 2-out single. Bringing Derek Norris to the plate.
I think the challenge for Jake Peavy is going to be getting him into a game situation where he gets hot, pitches an inning, comes back, sits down, cools off, and gets back up again. And being able to do that, that has been what has been problematic for him. And we see him, a couple, 2 or 3 innings, first time through the lineup, and he's been real sharp. And then all of a sudden, things start to lock up in his hips and his lower back. And so he has some work to do, but the Giants are very encouraged with what they've seen.
Here's Norris, who takes low. Norris bounced out to Crawford in the 2nd. And a quick toss. Upton is back. Upton will sneak attack. He's got 3 steals. He hasn't been thrown out. Runner goes, and Upton's going to steal it.
Boy, that is an enormous jump. And Vogelsong, I think, just didn't really think he was going to do that. In a 5-0 ball game, Busher Posey had none chance. Just catch it and throw it back to the pitcher.
Well, the only way it hurts is if Norris picks up a hit right here.
Vogelsong has not had a lot of stretch time. He was in the stretch of the first inning. Then he retired 11 in a row. 10 in a row, I beg your pardon.
Curveball popped him up. This will get Vogelsong out of the inning. Panic puts it away, and that'll end the inning. Maxwell's going to lead things off. 5-0 Giants. Mobile game changer. September 24th, 1993. Ted Robinson. That's right. Teddy Ballgame with the call.
The tying run. High drive. Left field. Hit deep. Giants win. Score. Wow.
And that was Will Clark walk-off home run. Padres Gene Harris. 1993. Here's Maxwell, who takes low.
Yeah, one of 103 wins the Giants had that year. And it got them second place in the National League West.
No wild card in those days. Maxwell with an RBI single in the second inning. Now batting for the second time.
Now, when you have a 3-run inning, you come back out, the last thing you want to do is put yourself into the stretch by way of a walk to open up an inning. And right here, in this situation, I mean, if you're Justin Maxwell, who's got some power, this is get greedy time.
Fouled off his foot.
And that's how you should swing in that count. He knows the deal. He knows that Cashier's got to come after him.
Duffy. And then Vogelsong. Down the right field line. Kemp is going to put it away. Nice at that. And here's Duffy. You might have mentioned this, Mike, but coming into today, Cashner had allowed 8 unearned runs this season. That's the highest total in the Major League. And he's got a couple more tacked on him tonight, which is the perfect reason why he's 1-4 and his ERA came in at 2.61. Duffy with a base hit to left field. So Duffy doesn't waste any time.
Yeah, just a belt high mistake on a first pitch challenge. Look at the location. Two-seam fastball, and just not a whole lot of movement on it. The higher the two-seamer goes, the flatter it gets. Sets up a bunt situation here for Vogelsong.
Cashner is going to go to first. Everything's going through Vogelsong's mind.
I'm going to die.
Well, plus that's how he got hurt a couple of years ago.
2 years ago, got hit in the hand. And this thing is just a heat seeker coming right at him. And he just does get the right hand out of the way. And look at it, takes his legs right out underneath him.
And that's like 3 inches from his fingers. So Vogelsong does the job, and here's Nori Aoki. Look out, back foot, 1 ball and no strike. Panic would hit if Aoki extends the inning, and he takes a strike, so it's 1 ball and 1 strike. .62 pitches for Cashner. Cotton Candy, dressed in the colors. Couldn't be happier.
She couldn't give it away. She said, good, more for me. Thank you very much.
We've said it before. Cotton Candy as good as pine tar.
Better.
Put that on a bat, and never have to use it again. Look out. Okay. Two and 2 to Nori Aoki. Got him to end the inning. No runs, a hit, 1 left. We played 4 innings here at AT&T Park. 5-0 Giants.
last night? Well, Brandon Crawford took a hit away from Tyson Ross. The Padres pitcher going up the middle to his belly, to his feet. And a nice dig out of the dirt from Brandon Belt. And that is our Togo's big play. The Togo's way. On a night where the Giants made 4 errors, there was some defensive brilliance, and that was one of them.
Overshift is on for William Venable. And he takes wide 1-0. William. That's what he's known around these parts. 1 ball and no strike. Crawford's going to charge it and throw him out. So Venable bounces off twice now. Dodgers are in town for a 3-game series. Tuesday and Wednesday are both 7:15 starts. That's the 19th and the 20th. The final game of the series is day baseball, and that's 12:45. Dodgers, Giants, sfgiants.com/tickets. Dodgers beat Milwaukee tonight, or they're beating Milwaukee 8-1 in the 9th. Greg Counsell 1-0 until tonight. The Colorado and Arizona got postponed again.
Yeah, 2 rainouts in a row.
That will unbelievably mess with your pitching staff as Maxwell moves over. And that's out number 2. Remember, the Giants and Rockies have a doubleheader. Let me look at the calendar. That's on the 23rd of May. So they got a bunch of games to make up. Drives pitching coaches crazy.
Yes, it does.
Here's Amarista, who takes a strike.
Drives bullpen pitchers crazy. Or relief pitchers, I should say.
Oh, 2.
You're talking about Will Venable, known as William in these parts. I'll never forget when Max Venable, a teammate of ours, he and his wife Molly had William. He came in and introduced us. We all got to hold the baby. I said, well, what's his name? William. I said, Will? And Molly said, no, it's William. And that was it. He became William, don't call me Will Venable, 2 days into his stay here on this planet.
2-2.
And lo and behold, he gets the big leagues and becomes Will Venable. All right, this is a little, how do you do?
Two balls, 2 strikes. Got him, and that'll end the inning.
Too rough at that.
2 strikeouts for Votosong, both against Amarista. And Joe Panik is going to bat first.
CSN Bay Area is brought to you by Yellow Pages, the even more powerful so you can do anything.
Well, if you're looking for the best coverage of San Francisco Giants baseball, you can log on to csnbayarea.com. As insider Alex Pavlovich will provide wire-to-wire reporting to the Giants season, and you'll see it only on csnbayarea.com.
Here's Joe Panik, 5-0 Giants, and that pitch is wide. Panik is lined out and flied out, and here he drives one to right. Hit well. It is out of here. Home run number 2 for Joe Panik, and it's 6-0.
Well, we saw it Sunday against Jared Weaver. Same type of pitch. It's a breaking ball that just kind of hangs up in the strike zone. And Panik says, thank you very much.
Here's Buster Posey. And Buster takes a strike. Buster tonight 1 for 2. Here he takes one in the dirt.
Watch the location of the breaking ball right at the belt. And every scout in the stand says if you're going to throw a breaking ball to Panik, bury it in the dirt.
On the ground, this is hit right at Spangenberg. That's 1 out.
Well, he just jumps on it. Watch from our splash cam. Round tripper. Gabe Morales umpired first base tonight. I think umpires like to give the home run sign.
Yeah, I think they do. Here's Belt, who fouls this one off of Norris, and it's 0-1. One ball and 1 strike. Crawford to follow. 1-2. Inside the belt. It's 74 pitches now for Andrew Keshner. Belt just stays alive.
Another off-speed pitch that was up, though.
Two pitch, here it is, and it's high, ball 3.
Crawford chalking up on deck.
And the walk, and he'll take it.
Third walk of the night for Kashner. The previous 2 walks both scored and have indeed haunted him tonight. Start pitcher, you got 6 runs on the board. I mean, it's real easy to lose your concentration.
So Crawford, who knocked in a run with a base hit in the 3rd.
the song, waiting, pitching the next inning in his mind. Hasn't been often. They've gotten 6 runs for him in the first 5 innings of a ball game. That is a nice feeling when you're a starting pitcher.
On the ground, into the hole. Amarista dives, no play, base hit for Crawford.
Kind of a magic one-do hit right there, but if you think about what he went through in April, where every line drive he hit got caught, he's owed a couple of these. Nothing that Amarista could do. And once it got past Middlebrooks, the third baseman, it was going to be a difficult play for the shortstop, Amarista. I mean, he did well just to stop that ball from going into left field. That ball gets in left field, Belt's going to take third. So just by catching it, even though he couldn't make a throw, he saved 90 feet for his team. Nice play.
So here's Blanco. Blanco takes low. Blanco's 0 for 2. Strikeout, and then he reached on an error by Solarte at first.
Pitch it.
Two balls and no strikes. Now we're going to see some bullpen activity. Quackenbush heads down. On the ground, Solarte. That's one, and that's it. So Maxwell's going to hit with runners at the corners. Maxwell's had a good day. He's knocked in a run with a single in the second, and then he lined out to right field in the fourth. So here's Cashner to Justin Maxwell. On the ground, slowly hit. Amarista will step on the bag, and that'll end the inning. Giants do pick up a run here in the fifth on the home run by Joe Panik. And that's right, you can hear in the background, it's bye-bye baby. And it's 6-0 Giants.
AT&T Park. Your special event package will include a ticket to the Giants taking on the Dodgers, and then the Travis Ishikawa bobblehead with a sound chip that has John Miller's call of Travis's historic NLCS home run that put the Giants in the World Series. Go to sfgiants.com/special events.
So here's Cashner, who takes a call strike.
And a reminder, to receive the Ishikawa bobblehead, you need to purchase the Japanese night special event ticket.
And a quick 0-2 to Cashner.
I'm a little surprised at Cashner being able to hit here. It's not like Bud Black has a short bench. He's got 5 guys on the bench. He's got 8 guys in the bullpen. The Giants or the Padres expanded their bullpen today. And last night's ball game, they did not have a left-hander in the bullpen, and they added Frank Garces before the game, which gave them a left-hander and 8 bullpenners, relief guys. Alaskan girl turned gamer bag. Vamos Gigantes. Well, welcome to the club.
Indeed, indeed. Here's the 0-1 to Spangenberg. And Spangenberg's going to have a 1-out single on a line drive into right field.
First baseman, number 26, Solarte.
Here's Solarte with 1 out and 1 on. Oversong has done a nice job tonight. He's only allowed 3 singles.
Well, and if a 6-run lead, that impresses a lot of clubs. I don't know if it impresses the Padres that much. They came into tonight's ball game having scored 131 times as a team. The Giants had scored 81 times. So Padres 50 more runs this year than the Giants have scored. So if there's an offense that can come back, I mean, they certainly have that confidence that they can do it.
Well, this is not where they want to be, but you're right, they've got some sock.
And in Vogelsong's mind, it's 1-0. I mean, he's bearing down on every pitch.
And he cashed that one high, so it's 2 balls and no strikes. Giants 6, Padres nothing.
131 runs that the Padres have scored. I mean, they lead the National League in runs scored.
It's 3-0.
Nothing special here. Down 3-0 in the count, up 6-0 on the score. This was right across the plate. So first walk of the night from Vogelsong. And here come the guys in the middle of the lineup that can hurt you.
And slightly nervous pitching coach and manager. It's Kemp who steps up. Where's the RBI guy?
He's pretty impressive in the lineup. You got guys at 21, 17. Remember, the most of the Giants is 15. That's Brandon Crawford.
Kemp fouls it back.
And having said all this, George Campos head down the Giants bullpen. Giants just have 3 hitters that are in double digits in the RBI total.
Out of play, 0-2. That's a good location pitch by Vogelsong.
Well, he's made a lot of them tonight. Not a lot of difference in an 0-2 approach from Kemp that you get in a 2-0 approach. I mean, he's still can beat you with the long ball at any count.
Just outside, 1-2.
But that's a great 0-2 pitch. That's exactly where you want to throw that pitch. You start it on the outside corner and let the movement take it out of the strike zone and hope a guy chases. And that's the reputation that Kemp has. He'll chase above the zone. He'll chase in the dirt. And he wants to knock those runs in. He'll expand his zone and focus on trying to take advantage of that reputation.
And it just stays alive.
Comes right back with another good location curveball in that 1-2 count. Throwing all the slow curveballs, though, you are kind of hitting away from the defense. They have Kemp play to the right side of the field. They're giving him the line to left field.
Spoils another breaking ball. This one low and away. Six runs, 7 hits for the Giants. No runs, 3 hits for the Padres. Game 2 of this series. Game 3 tomorrow. Day game. One ball and 2 strikes. Spangenberg at second. Solarte at first. Hits a left field. Starting to carry. Okay, makes the catch. And hustling back to first is Solarte. Kemp just missed it.
Well, we're going to make that effort by Aoki our forward right choice. And they go inside with the fastball at the belt. I mean, that's right where they want to. A bent arm swing from Kemp. I mean, he hits it leaving the box, thinking he's got one knocked out of here, and 3 runs are on the board. And watch Aoki go back, measure, see the wall, and a high backhander hauls it in. And that's a big play and a big out, and that's a forward right choice. That was not a hanger. It's exactly where he wanted to put that ball.
And you figure he was set up for it because of all the breaking balls blowing away.
Indeed. But you're not out of the woods yet.
So here's Upton. Upton is 1 for 2.
And he leads the Padres in RBIs. Another look at the catch from our splash cam. He had to get back on it quickly. Good concentration of the glove. See how he protects himself with his right arm to find that wall. Job well done.
Ooh, 1 ball and 1 strike. I'll say this though about Vogelsong. We saw him, trying to shave earlier starts. He's challenged more guys today.
Oh, I think you're right on. I mean, I think that's the difference with his fastball. It is a 1-0. You want to try and get up above the hands on the inside corner. I mean, that's where he wanted to pitch that. I mean, he's been in that strike zone a lot with the fastball. It's the best fastball he's had since 2 starts ago.
Two balls and 1 strike. Oakland steps out. At second, Spangenberg. Solarte at first. Three and one with Norris on deck. So we will see what Upton gets right here. And the walk. Dave Righetti's going to come out.
Contos is good to go. They've given the sign that he's ready. And all this is Vogelsong has thrown a lot of pitches this inning. And Righetti's just going to give him a little bit of a breather. But he'll also tell him, he's your last hitter. And a pitching coach would definitely go out there and challenge a veteran in this type of scenario.
So here's Derek Norris. He's bounced out and he's popped out. Bases are loaded. Curveball for a strike, and it's 0-1. Spangenberg at third, Solarte at second, Upton at first. Defense
pretty straight away. Blanco a little pull towards the right side out in center field.
Nope, a bit high. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. So this about Rob Drake. He's been very, very consistent with that pitch.
Yeah, he has not given the high fastball at all. There are a few high breaking balls that have been called a strike, but for the most part, it's been a low strike zone tonight. It's been consistent, very consistent.
Norris on the ground. Duffy's got it, and that'll end the inning. So Vogelsong gets out of the net. Giants are coming up 6-0.
Is brought to you by Heffernan Insurance Brokers. Insurance and financial services for you and your business. Visit hefins.com and by Xfinity, home of the most live sports.
Well, check out the 2015 All All-Star Teacher is brought to you by Provident Credit Union, and you can vote right here on ComcastSportsNet.com/AST. It is the ninth season of the CSN All-Star Teacher Program, and it recognizes teachers that make a difference. The winner receives $20,000 for his or her school. Duffy takes a strike. Vogelsong to follow. Foul down the right field line and out of play. So Memphis beats the Warriors tonight. Just kidding.
Well,
see, they're watching the Warriors right there.
Gotham Club, that's just above the scoreboard in right field. It's fantastic. One of the best bars in the city.
So I take it you've been.
Yes, I have. And I'm going back. That's how good that is. There's two parts to the Gotham Club. This is the bar here that goes into a restaurant if you keep walking along the outfield wall there. And then there's another section that's up in the third level and the suites level.
Is it possible, there's strike three call to Duffy, to do a game from there?
Well, you know what? I think that's an excellent question.
No, I mean, if you did the game, you could see through the scoreboard.
I would like to try.
Look at that.
Right there, that's us. Yeah, go Giants!
It could be the in honor of Harry Carey game where you do the game and you have some cocktails at the same time.
Well, that would be a good broadcast. It would be our last broadcast. But we'd go out and
work for
flame.
Harry.
There's only one Harry Carey.
I think there are a few other guys besides Harry that it worked for. I'm not saying within the last 20 years. 1-1 to Vogelsong. Vogelsong with the sacrifice bunt in the fourth inning. Sharp ground ball to Amarista. I would say Mike is, if you're Andrew Cashner and you're a guy that's used to winning games, pitching in a 6-0 game, you kind of have to suck it up and I guess trick your mind thinking that it's 2-1.
I'll tell you, you can find a lot about a guy in this type of scenario. You can find out how mentally tough he is. Simple as that.
Yeah, that's how much Benny thinks of us. He puts our pictures as close to him as possible.
Thank you, Benny. We feel the same about you, big boy.
There's Nori Aoki. Flips it out to Upton. And Cashner with a 1-2-3 inning here in the sixth. Seventh inning is coming up. And Max and Molly's kid is going to lead it off. All Giants tonight. Cashner has allowed 4 earned runs. Vogelsong's been very good. Crawford's 2 for 2. And see the Padres with runners in scoring position in this series 0 for 11. Giants just enough to win yesterday and have the lead tonight. Although a panic home run helped tonight. As William Venable bounces this one foul.
Vogelsong has used a lot of curveballs in that 1-0 count tonight. When he's opened up an at bat, missed with the fastball, fell behind 1-0. He's come back with that little curveball, evened up the count a lot.
And bounce foul again. It's 1-2.
Comes right back again. Another deuce.
Duffy now with 2 strikes went in from playing shallow at third to playing short. There he goes. Got him, and Venable knew it. Check in with Amy G. Amy.
All right, guys, it always seems that the opposing team coming into AT&T Park has connections to the Bay Area. The Padres have a lot. Manager Bud Black, born in San Mateo. Will Venable, you guys call him Max and Molly's kid. He grew up in Marin. Of course, his dad, Max, was a Giant. Tyson Ross, born in Berkeley, went to Cal. And Alonzo Powell, guys, the assistant hitting coach, born in San Francisco, raised in San Francisco, went to Lincoln High School, signed by the Giants in '83. Gentlemen, his favorite Giant, Willie Mays. Dwayne?
He's not the only one. You're right. A lot of folks connected to Northern California. Here's Middlebrooks. And that hits the outside corner.
With Hunter in a 1-0 count. You really have to applaud Vogelsong for this outing. I mean, think about the pressure that he was under coming into the start here in May after a very tough April. His ERA was in the 9s prior to this game.
High into center field for Blanco. 2 out.
So I think if you're Vogelsong, you have to feel like I got to show something tonight. I've got to go out there and I've got to pitch.
You know what you did, Mike, is you got off to a good start.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think the difference tonight has been the aggressiveness with his fastball. Doesn't have to nibble.
So here's Amarista.
It's like Kevin Quackenbush in the Padres bullpen talking it over. Willie Blair, the bullpen coach, going over the hitters that Quackenbush is going to face next time. She came all the way from Alaska.
All the way.
Just to watch Ryan Vogelsong deal, and he has done that tonight.
You been to Alaska?
No.
Never been.
But you know, the year that I signed, I was going to play for the Anchorage Glacier Pirates. And then I got drafted by the Cubs and signed.
A lot of guys our age played in that Alaskan Summer League. There's a foul out of play. Never made it. Was asked to work on the oil well line.
Yeah? How'd that go?
Yeah.
Good off-season job.
Yeah,
spend your winters up in Alaska.
Tough to take a nap. Foul back.
Had my son go up there and coach one summer. Said best fishing you've ever seen.
Oh, I'll bet. One ball, 2 strikes. Okie coming in. He's going to make the sliding catch. And that'll end the inning. Vogelsong through 7, a shutout. Panic's going to lead things off.
baby, Bogey. Sportsnet Bay Area, plus complete pre- and post-game coverage of Giants insider Alex Pavlovich right here at CSN Bay Area. Tomorrow, in case you're interested as to who is on the hill in that ball game, it's going to be Chris Heston taking on Ian Kennedy. So join us, if you will, tomorrow, 12:30 pregame live at noon, only on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area, the home of your world champion Giants.
When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. Your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts.
Your pitcher now for the Padres will be Kevin Quackenbush. Right-hander. Take a look at his numbers. No record yet with a 3.18 ERA. 7 base runners allowed in 5 2/3. Excellent. 6 strikeouts against 2 walks. 3-to-1 ratio. Excellent. With Quackenbush, you're going to see a lot of low 90s fastballs. He's got a curveball and a split. Big guy, 6'4", 220-pounder. Got a year at the big league level, 26 years of age.
And here's Panic, who homered. That's right. You heard me right. He homered in his last at bat, his second of the year. That's a foul out of play. Well, the sun coming in after that 7th inning.
You can definitely see the warm reception, basically telling us that he's done for the night, but a little relief in his face, and all his teammates there to applaud the effort. He was fantastic tonight.
Panic hit a home run, as I mentioned, in the 5th.
Hanging breaking ball right at the belt. I mean, it's just the 4th home run given up on the year by a Cashman.
Panic skies this one into left center field, and it'll be William Venable who makes the catch. And here's Buster Posey. Buster tonight is 1 for 3, scored a run in the 3rd inning. The Giants scored 3 runs in the 3rd after 2 outs. First pitch is wide, 1 ball and no strikes. Here's a 1-0 to Buster Posey. Very high, 2 balls and no strikes.
Look out.
Buster, that average at 276. play. 2-1. If you watch Buster Posey take batting practice, he's very methodical when it comes to how he's going to just keep hitting the ball to right field for at least the first 15 to 20 swings that he takes. While other guys play home run derby, he does not.
No, you're right. I mean, very methodical with the work he does prior to getting in the cage off the tee. And he doesn't over abuse the batting cage. I mean, he goes in with specific reasons. He wants to feel like he's coming out and his swing is in one piece. And as you pointed out, I mean, most of his batting practice goes to right field. And he knows being a catcher, you can really tire yourself out with extra time in the batting cage.
We'll say this. He does, however, enjoy watching Madison Bumgarner play home run derby. And we do too. And tight. Down the left field line. Fair or foul? It is foul.
Quackenbush trying to go in tight with the fastball. Posey, watch the elbows bend right through it. I mean, that's the beauty of his swing. He stays inside the ball. You see a knob leading through the swing, and then all of a sudden here comes the barrel head, even on an inside pitch. It's great quickness.
Did not keep it fair.
Didn't hook that much.
And the walk. Here's Belt. He's been on base 3 times. There's the Empress of Sausalito. Looks like a little tough ratio there for the girls.
Well, not if you're one of the guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Outside the belt. It looks like fun though. He's at caramel corn with a fork.
That stuff is ridiculously good.
The thing about that is if you have an appointment like that, those two tomorrow, if they have an appointment to get their teeth cleaned,
yeah,
not a good idea to order that. Because I don't care how many times you brush your teeth or floss, you're not getting a lot of it out. I mean, do you ever get your teeth cleaned and the person cleaning it tell you what you ate the day before?
No.
Hey, had a steak, huh, last night?
No. I haven't
How
had
was that
happen.
popcorn? You go see the movies? 2 balls and 1 strike to Belt.
Not a bad idea to floss before you get to the dentist.
Some of the stuff. There's a drive. Left center field. Upton's going to put it away. Belt having a good night.
Yeah, he's swinging about well. And he's gone opposite field twice today. He had a leadoff double back in the 2nd inning right over the back. Will Venable's head in center field. A couple of walks in here again. He hits a ball right on the nose to the opposite side.
Crawford has been on base 3 times.
We needed that line drive to get out of the dentist's office.
1 ball and no strikes. Giants 6, Padres nothing here in the 7th.
George Campos will work at the top of the 8th inning. Great innings from Vogelsong. Really has continued the theme of great starting pitching the last 5 games. Giants starting pitching has been off the charts.
There's a base hit into right field. And Buster Posey is on the move. He's going to be held at third. Crawford's got a double.
That's a 3-hit night for Crawford. Quackenbush, the challenge fastball. The head stay right down through the swing. The ball just exploded off the barrelhead. Kemp had been playing well over to right center, and he was giving the line. For the second time in this series, Brandon Crawford has beaten the defense on the Padres. They've given him the line in right field, and he's found it.
Blanco takes the first pitch down low. Blanco fouls at bat.
Last 36 2/3 innings for the Giants starters. In the last 5 games, they've given up 4 earned runs. Their collective ERA 0.98.
Swing. Foul 1-2.
And in those 36 2/3, they've allowed 15 hits. Opponents batting average 119.
Posey at third, Crawford at second. Inside to Blanco, 2-2.
There's the 7-game home winning streak. 4-0 with a 1.69 ERA. 26 hits in 48 innings. That's dealing.
And Blanco will take a call, third strike to end the inning. No runs, a hit, 2 left. We'll head to the 8th, 6-0 Giants. MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. You can get in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay, reviews, radio broadcasts, and it just goes on and on and on. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet. We use it every game, every day.
Got it on right now.
It's a 6-0 lead for the Giants. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts.
New pitcher now for the Giants will be George Cantos, coming into his 12th game, 1-0 with a 1.72 ERA. Really off to a nice start. League hitting 196 off of him.
And Jed Jerko is the pinch hitter. This is like addicting, this stuff.
Well, you know, when you get that caramel corn, you take the first bite, the first thing you say is, "I'm not sharing."
Yeah, that's fine if you're with friends. If you're with family, that doesn't work.
Well, about halfway into it, you realize you have to share it.
The 1-1 to Jerko, swing and a miss. 1-2. Jerko up the middle, and he's got a base hit. So a leadoff single for Jerko. And here's Spangenberg. Spangenberg is 1 for 2. He did line a single off of Vogelsong in the 6th inning. And here's a strike.
Nice first pitch, 2-seam fastball. Really, see a nice command of both types of movement on the fastball, the 4-seam and the 2-seamer, from George Cantos this year.
Slowly hit. It's going to be Crawford who makes a nice play, just cutting right across the diamond.
So what's the rule of thumb at that part of the diamond between the shortstop and the second baseman?
Well, he needs to get this if he can, just because his momentum is going right to where he's going to throw.
Panic going hard, then backs off right there at the last instance when he saw that Crawford was going to be able to get to it.
Here's Solarte, who's 1 for 2 with a walk. Cantos to Solarte, and a bouncing ball foul.
Ball dude. Jim Vermees, nice going, Jimmy. Oh, there we go. Found a nice home. Cocoa Rub. All is good in the world.
Here's the 0-1. Down low, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Change up. Didn't miss by much.
Kemp is on deck. Giants led 2-0 after 2, 5-0 after 3. Foul back, 1-2.
Well, he planted that cutter right there on the hands. I mean, this is what we've seen from Cantos. If you look at his motion, very compact, very easy to repeat the stroke, and it allows him to command his pitches. And he's got 5 types of movement now that he's getting confidence in every time he goes out there. And that last pitch is a cut that he didn't even have when he got to the big leagues. It's a pitch he learned at the big league level, like the changeup, like the 2-seam fastball.
And the 1-2. Ooh, Santos thought he had him. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
What do you think Gregor Blanco's thinking out in center field?
He's already taken his glove off and he's taking a walk.
Blanco got called out on a strike 3 in a pitch that was not as good as that. And he's out in center field thinking,
Well, now it's 3-2.
you don't want to walk anybody here.
No, you got the big boys coming up.
6-0 lead tells me I could challenge. Go right at him.
Out of play. Solarte will give you a tough at bat.
Oh, he can hit. No doubt about that. I like the pitch though. 3-2 slider. He's always had the ability to throw that slider for a strike when he wants to.
Another 3-2 pitch. Here it is. Got him.
So he goes back foot slider to an aggressive hitter, and he gets him to go out of the strike zone. Right down at the back foot, and I don't think he had it in mind to throw it there. I think it's a nice mistake. It's a pitch you really don't want to have a guy take the walk. But Solarte can't lay off. See you later.
So here's Kemp. Kemp is 0 for 3. Low, 1 ball and no strikes. Day game tomorrow. Interesting to see what Bruce Bochy does with Buster Posey.
Well, if they win this ball game tonight, I think they're probably going to get a day off. They game after night game.
I have a feeling he's going to get one no matter what. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, I agree with you. At the time of year to go day game after night game, it's something to do late in the year when you're making a drive for the pennant or the playoffs. Posey has had a full day off, really, very often. When he's come out of the squat and put him at first base, that's been his day off.
1-2.
Nice time with the cutter.
Turco at second with 2 outs. This is the 8th. Got him. And that'll end the inning. Nice inning for Conquest. 6-0 Giants. Maxwell's going to lead things off. Postgame Live. You get highlights, reaction, and analysis. It's all coming up right after the game. It's 6-0 Giants. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. Your oil change tune-up and repair experts. Nick Vincent is your new pitcher. Vincent facing Justin Maxwell, and Maxwell fouls it back. Maxwell has had a nice ball game. He's 1 for 3, but he's actually hit the ball hard 2 out of the 3 times. Got the Giants on the board with an RBI single off of Cashner in the second. Fouls this one out of play.
You see a lot of sliders, a lot of cut from Vincent. Not going to blow you away with velocity, but he's going to have everything that's going to move normally away from a right-hander.
Duffy, and then probably a pinch hitter is Maxwell strikes out swinging. Check out Sportsnet Central tonight after Giants Postgame Live right here in Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area.
Yep, we're checking scores right there.
Duffy fouls this one out of play. Duffy had an RBI on a fielder's choice in the second. And that next pitch is down low. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, bring your lapdog. They like popcorn.
Yeah. Or just have that dog soften it up for you. Here's the 1-1 pitch.
It's a service dog. Come on. It's not the dog days yet, is it?
Not yet. Duffy with a base hit into center field, his second hit. And Hector Sanchez is going to hit. See the numbers for Hector Sanchez. Not a lot of playing time for Hector so far this year.
Well, he's kind of taking on the role as a pinch hitter. Third catcher.
Inside, 1-0. The Padres do put the shift on for Hector Sanchez. And he shoots this one, and it's off the glove of Spangenberg, and Duffy's going to make it into second. May have been a knuckleball, but if not, it should have been a ball that should have been caught.
Could be a base hit. One hopper with some. Well, no, I mean that should have been a line drive caught.
Yeah, absolutely.
I always say that there's no bad hop on a line drive. Well, as you point out, a knuckleball will make that ball do all kinds of crazy things.
Well, I don't think Spangenberger did it on purpose, but that's how you play an error into a hit. Here's Aoki. Because that ball should have been caught.
That ball should have been caught, no doubt. I mean, if you're Nick Vincent, I mean, that's the way you're thinking.
Absolutely. And that's foul.
Look out.
If you're Aoki, you haven't had many 0 for 5s, and he's 0 for 4 tonight.
Well, he's going to be shy.
No, he didn't want to be on camera. Witness protection.
Yeah. He'll loosen up. Another couple years.
You were like that. Look at you now.
Yeah, it's true. I got over it.
Hit up the middle. That's 1. And that's 2. And that'll end the inning. 9th inning coming up. Yeah, he's back. Yes. Gotta be.
Honda, and continue with the theme that we've seen for the last 5 games. Ryan Vogelsong, starting pitcher, outstanding tonight. 7 strong shutout innings, 3 hits allowed, a couple of walks, 4 strikeouts. And really, he's got to feel very, very happy with the way that he was throwing the ball tonight, especially that fastball. He was spinning. And Ryan Vogelsong is our player of the game, brought to you by Honda.
So Yosmena Petit to face Justin Upton. And a strike when it's time for a change. Thanks Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up and repair experts.
The numbers for Yusmeiro Petit, no record yet. 5.25 ERA, 2.1 strikeout walk ratio, 10 strikeouts in 12 innings. That's good.
Upton 1 for 2, a single and a walk.
Linskin, his last start he spinned. And last night Madison Bumgarner, he was spinning. Chris Heston, Tim Hudson. It's been a great time through the rotation for the Giants. And as Bruce Bochy said, I mean, they compete with one another. Well, tonight Ryan Vogelsong was challenged, and boy did he answer.
Heston tomorrow. And the 1-2. Here it is to Upton. Got him, and Upton knew it. And that'll bring up North.
You see a pitch like that, you say, well, how can a guy take that with 2 strikes? Easy. He wasn't looking for it. And the big boys, they guess, even with 2 strikes. He was not looking fastball. Giants have thrown 2 consecutive shutouts the last time. Well, 2012.
Norris is 0 for 3. This is hit out into center field for Blanco, and Blanco is going to track it down. And that'll bring to the plate William Venable. Padres with 2 hits last night and 4 hits tonight. Yep, he's still here to help his Giants to a win. William Venable is 0 for 3.
Saw a lot of sombreros tonight. Giants come up big with 6 runs. I haven't given up any. I might see some of those sombreros again tomorrow. They're good luck.
I'm in. Outside to William Venable.
Any chance we'll see you in a sombrero tomorrow?
No, probably not, but maybe.
She's rocking it.
One of the nights in Cincinnati if we stay out late enough. Swing and a miss. 1 and 2.
There have been a few nights that I've been looking for sombreros. I got to be honest.
Had a few sombreros as a hitter.
Silver.
Oh my goodness. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Got him, and that's the ball game. So the Giants win their 8th in a row at home, and more importantly, they put together a good stretch on this homestand, and it was a great start for Ryan Vogelsong.
Well, it really was, and he'll tell you it was a start he needed to have, and that's 3 shutouts in a row now. The Giants pitching has just been off the charts, and the last 5 games, the starters 36 and 2/3 innings. They've given up 15 hits, and you just cannot do any better than that, and you're going to win a lot of games when you pitch like that, and they are.
Final score here at AT&T Park, it's the Giants 6 and the Padres nothing. Thanks for joining us. Now stay tuned. Eastern's Giants postgame live with interviews on the wrap is going to start right now.